What is up, everybody? Welcome to my Monday through Friday routine, weeding my way through traffic, getting to work and back. Now, I've been doing this gig for about 10 years. I've done over 200,000 miles. Now, not all of it has been lane splitting, getting to work and back, but of that 200,000 miles of getting to work and back, about 80,000 of that is lane splitting, which means I've seen a lot and I've learned a lot. And I want to share with you guys today the things that I've seen that other lane splitters do wrong. And some of it's pretty obvious and some of it's pretty shocking too. Now, I live in California where lane splitting is legal, lane filtering is legal, and there is a difference. And I want to explain the difference between the two real quick before I get into the rest of the video, because I didn't really understand the difference between the two until like today. So what I'm doing right now is lane splitting, which means I'm going up the middle of this lane. I can go up the middle of between any two lanes. I can follow the white lines, and I can go any speed and do this at any time. So there's really no rules to splitting lanes for the rider. Now, lane filtering is a bit different, and what that is where you have to be on a street. You can only do it on a street that's posted 45 miles an hour or slower. You can only be traveling at 15 miles an hour. The traffic has to be stopped. So basically, like in the city at signals, traffic's backed up, not moving, and you can just ride up between the cars, not exceeding 15 miles an hour. To me, that's pretty weak. I mean, it's like, just open up the roads, let these guys go faster and get between cars at any time. So that is the difference between lane splitting and lane filtering. And real quick, like I said, California is the only one where you can split lanes. There are several states that you can filter. I got it written down here: Montana, Colorado, Minnesota, Arizona, Utah, and Hawaii. Now, Minnesota, they're not enacting their lane filtering law until 2025. Alright, so let's get in the meat and potatoes of this video. What not to do when you're lane splitting if you're a motorcycle rider. The one thing I've seen that blows my mind is I'll see a rider jumping into a lane splitting lane without looking for other motorcycle riders. They just think, I'm the only guy doing it, I'll just jump on in here, and next thing you know, the guy that's splitting, wham, runs right into him. I have witnessed it one time, and believe it or not, it was a sport bike guy jumping into the lane, and he took out a motorcycle cop. I could not believe that happened. Okay, so what's happening here is these lanes go straight through. I need to get in those right two lanes because I got to get in the freeway going to the right. Things always get backed up right here of everybody jumping in at the last minute, including me. It gets a little sketchy. Alright, here we go. Alright, what else have I seen? Riders, the obvious one, riders going too fast. I have literally witnessed two guys get taken out right in front of me at two different occasions. One guy was on a sport bike and he was doing about 60 and traffic was doing about 20, and I'm like, dude, that's not good. And sure enough, car comes over to switch lanes. He didn't have time to react. He actually had time to hit his horn, of all things, but he had so much speed, he ended up careening right into the side of that car, and he bounced off of it, and just ricocheted off it into traffic, made a huge mess. I unfortunately didn't stop for that one, and I just Kept going, and I don't know the outcome of that. But the other guy, he was on a Dyna Harley Davidson. He came up behind me pretty quick, and you know, I don't ball guys up. I moved over and let him go, and I was just kind of like, dude, you're going too fast. He went by me, and he was doing about 50, and traffic was doing maybe 15. And I'm watching, and I'm like, God, don't let anybody change lanes. And sure enough, here comes a Honda Accord, crosses over a solid line, no less, jumping out of the carpool lane. Illegal move. And once again, the guy bounced off that car, ran into a Mustang, went flying up in the air. It was carnage, man. And I actually stopped for that one and assisted the guy, because the jackasses that were driving the car were sitting on their trunk doing nothing. Unbelievable how you can almost kill somebody and not be there to attend to their needs and even see how they're doing. It's just shocking, these people these days. So speed is a big one. Another thing you don't want to do is you don't want to stand up while splitting lanes. I've seen it before. Not a lot, but I've seen it a couple times. One of the guys that went by me standing up on a dual sport bike, going a little bit too fast for what I think is safe. And next thing I know, car cuts across. He hits the skids. Thankfully, he was a good rider, and he kind of threw the bike sideways and avoided the vehicle. But it was a close call, and he was not happy, boy. He was throwing a fit at that car. But standing up, no bueno. Okay, this one's pretty popular with the Harley guys. I see these guys splitting lanes with their feet on the cruiser pegs. So, and they're just like, you know, just lollygagging down the middle of the lane, not thinking anybody's going to come over and cut across in front of them. Well, how are you going to react with your back brake if your foot is a foot and a half away from the back brake, you know, with your feet kicking out like that? I mean, you're not going to be able to stop in time with just the front brake. So, hey, what's up, dude? So that's a big no-no. Thank you. What I do is I keep my two front fingers, these two fingers on my front brake, just sitting there on the brake, not pulling it in, and I have my right foot just touching the back brake all the time when I'm splitting lanes. I never take them off, because I never know when things are going to go sideways and someone's going to get in my way. Now, this last one I just saw very recently, and I was like, really, dude? Actually, I've seen it twice. Guy on a sport bike, they're usually the sport bike guys, going pretty fast, splitting lanes with their left hand off the handlebar, like cruiser style, like just cruising along. I got my throttle hand in place, and I'm just cruising along. And this is when traffic's really tight, and they're just trucking along pretty fast. And I'm like, what are you gonna do if that car right there is gonna come over on you and you gotta react? It's not gonna be good. And those are the things that I've seen that riders do that I think should be avoided when splitting lanes. Now, some things that I do to avoid carnage is I have this thing that I call the what if rule. What if? What if this guy's going to do this? What if this car's going to do that? It's saved my butt a bunch. I've had a lot of close calls. They sometimes just cannot be avoided. I mean, people drive and they don't see you, or they're on their phone. But what if helps a lot. I use it in all my writing all the time. Now, a couple things I have done on my bike that really help are I have really bright lights on the front made by Oxbeam. They've been fantastic. They're super, super bright. And I have an exhaust system on my bike that I use to warn people that I'm coming if they're coming over into my way. And I'll just give them one of those and whoop, they get right out of my way. So a lot of people think exhaust doesn't matter because they're in front of you, not behind you, so they can't hear it. They hear it. Anyways, guys, ride safe out there. Hopefully this information helps you stay safer out there, and I will catch you all in the next video.